presented a substitute today to kind of change that. Communications is something that people can call the council, they email, they write. We get a lot of communications, business communication from different utilities. We get one from Charter Communication giving us a long, boring breakdown of everything that we do. And I don't know that it was ever the intent to read those. We did some extensive research. Most cities, or no city we found actually reads communication. One city does it if the majority of the council requests it. And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to say, okay, look, if there's somebody out there that really can't attend a meeting and they may make a request and say, I'm sending this to the city council, I can't be there and I'd like to have it read. And so the bill that's now out there, the substitute bill, says that that communication is not read unless requested by the sender and 2 members of the city council. So some of the people that felt that we were trying to say that we wouldn't hear a minority opinion, we were restricting, freedom of speech and so forth, never was our intent.
This is one most misinterpreted.
I think it was very misinterpreted, and the email tree got started with people saying you should be against this, and it was never any, my intent as the sponsor of the bill and the people that support the bill, it's not our intent. And the patriotism tag was put on this. We're not patriotic, and we're not, if we're going to try to do this. And Mr. Schneider has actually talked to some veterans, and we're going to go to the Veterans Commission and ask them, do they feel that this is restrictive, and then we'll come back. But it's an attempt to control the meeting. We have numerous opportunities for people to address the council. Hearing from citizens, we put that in the very front of our meeting. Some cities put it at the end. So in that case, somebody would have to be here till 10 o'clock tonight if they wanted to address the council. We ask during every public hearing, we have an opportunity to hear from citizens. And we also, before any third reading, before we take the final vote, people have an opportunity to talk. So we want to hear from citizens, and we do. I get phone calls, emails, letters from citizens all the time. And if a citizen wrote in, whether it's my resident or somebody else's, and said, would you please read this because I can't be there, and it was something appropriate, I don't see the council saying no. It's just a kind of an opportunity for us to kind of control our meeting. There were some things that happened recently, some internal communications, memos that somebody asked to have read. The sender didn't ask to have them read. It was an internal communication, and it may have been done to try to discredit the writer or something, but it was like, what was the purpose of reading them? And we had a lot of emails tonight, and as Mr. Schneider pointed out, had we read every one of them, we would not be sitting here now. We'd probably still be reading the communication. And there was one in there about a problem property in my ward where the resident requested a bunch of information. I mean, this was about a 7 or an 8 page document that laid out nuisance code violations and things, and all these things. And had we read that, what was the purpose of reading it? The purpose of communication is to communicate with your council people. And I think that all of us are diligent and read our communications and read it and make sure we're up to date. And I don't see the necessity to have it read back to me by the city clerk at the meeting, because I've done my homework and I've read the communication. So there's some misunderstandings, and I hope this will I don't know that it's going to change some people's opinions, but I think it's probably a little more balanced now, and it basically says, as I said, if the sender requests it and 2 members of council will read it. So, and I can tell you that I'm not going to be unreasonable in reading. If somebody can't be there because they work and they say, I'd like to get this, I think it's going to be a big problem. So.
I know we had our ward meeting and they presented this, and I think it was presented totally different also. So I mean, it's good to have some more time, get more views out.
Yeah, it's like they say, you can present something and it depends on how it's presented or who presents it.
What way you want it to go.
Right. And so some people are going to be more, I had an email that I got from a gentleman that basically said, I've been reading all this back and forth. Explain to me exactly what's going on. I took the time to email him back. He emailed me and said, that makes a lot of sense. I didn't understand that. I can see where people might misinterpret this, but I see why you're doing it. And I appreciate it. It's not even somebody in my ward, but he took the time to ask, what's going on, rather than overreacting and thinking that we're trying to take away people's rights and freedoms and things, and that's not what we're trying to do.
And Mr. Schneider talked about talking to some vets about it and just getting some input from them.
Yeah, he did. And again, that was the patriotism card that was pulled. We're these people that fought for our freedoms, and now we're taking freedoms away. And Mr. Schneider is a veteran, and he talked to a couple of people and explained to them. They said they didn't see it that way. So I think he's going to go to the Veterans Commission. We're going to get some input from some veterans, and that's why we slow the thing down. We'll put it off for a couple weeks, and actually until the 25th, and we'll bring it back up again. And we'll vote it up or down. If people, you know, if there's 5 votes, it'll pass, and if there's not, it won't. So we'll back up from there. So.
Yeah. All right. We'll see how that goes. We had some bills for first reading.